Mark Stevenson is our next speaker. He's Chief Executive Officer of Eternity Technologies. But you know, I was reading his CV, and I think I really have to make an exception and just talk about the academic background, expertise that indeed Dr. Stevenson will bring to this discussion. And if I look down this list, he's a member, I won't embarrass you too much, member of the Royal Institute of Chemistry in London, Doctor of Philosophy from Salford, Manchester, which is my old university, incidentally, in electrochemical processes and lead-acid battery technologies, elected Institute Directors, Technical Papers and Publications, and it says here some 25 scientific papers and patents relating to lead-acid batteries. So, indeed, I think it's a great pleasure to be able to welcome Dr. Stevenson, who is a businessman of repute and an expert in this field. Dr. Stevenson.
Good afternoon. This presentation is not a pure automotive battery presentation. We're moving a little bit into the industrial side, but just for some background, I'm sure most people in this room know Alder Bowie. Alder Bowie is a group here that's been here for over 40 years, specialising in tyres, automotive batteries, conveyor belts, lubricants, everything to do with the automotive battery industry. And today the group's 2000, it's based in Dubai and has been here for a long time. When you have a look at their brands that they use, their associates and suppliers, there's a whole range of them, a lot of tyre guys, you'll all see there, Goodyear, Pirelli, the likes like that, Continental, Hankook, they're all there. So you can see this is primarily has been a tyre company based here, selling globally. And I'm sure, as I said before, you know the Alder Bowie Group. Now, that was their automotive, and primarily an automotive group. And they moved into industrial tyres and industrial batteries about 4 or 5 years ago. And since then they've moved into solar, material handling and power solutions. And that's what I want to talk a little bit about today. Not purely automotive, but it's of interest from the battery point of view. So, the brands they look after today, you have Yuasa, Atlas, Xi, Delco and Infinity. So you can see primarily automotive. And then on the right you can see this nice new company, Eternity, which manufactures here in the UAE, which is really unusual. It's a manufacturing facility here in the UAE, and it was built 4 or 5 years ago, and it sells under its own brand and it sells around the world. And I'd like just to take you into that world a little bit because it's interesting and for you. So, just a little bit of background on industrial batteries. You'll see trucks there, the heavy duty trucks. You'll see the light like that, but you'll also see material handling trucks on the right, aerospace, telecoms, UPS, but it's a big market. It's 10 billion US dollars is the market, and it's growing significantly every year. And this is the market that the industrial battery Eternity is in. Well, the Alder Bowie Group took this decision in 2007. It was kind of a momentous decision because it was a tyre company, mainly trading in the trading side, and they decided to get into manufacturing. And the reasons here: develop the Middle East market. Middle East is in Dubai, UAE is a reliable business and legal structures. It has a strong local supplier base. Uniquely for a manufacturing facility in the UAE, 80 to 90% of what it manufactures is sourced from the UAE. That includes the lead, that includes the plastics, the acid, etc. And we have obviously a little bit like Emirates Airlines with global logistics all around the world. So we're based here in Ras Al Khaimah in the Northern Emirate. It's some of the iconic buildings, the UAE there. and we're not far from the airport if you ever want to visit us. This is the factory. It's unique. It's the only industrial battery factory in the whole of the Middle East, and it's here in the UAE. The sort of equipment we use is world class. You can see these, nearly everything is from Europe. Special mixers, special electrode making, special charging. You won't be used to this sort of charging in automotive, but in industrial, the far bigger charging units. Some numbers. We've invested $40 to $50 million on this factory. We've got state-of-the-art chemical and test laboratories. We can manufacture over 1 million units per annum, and we actually convert 20,000 tons worth of automotive battery scrap generated here in the UAE, and it's converted, and then we use it back into our industrial batteries, and then we export it. We export 95% of what we manufacture from car battery lead that's been smelted in the UAE. We've got the obvious quality approvals, and we've got 350 people. The whole plant and the whole product is based on world-class designs, production processes, technical development, cost structure. We're very, very competitive being here in the UAE, and we have a central location. So that was our business philosophy. We sell all over the world. 95%, as I said before, we sell 50% of everything we make to Germany. So as the automotive cars come in from Germany, the Mercs and the like, we ship back that lead back to Germany in industrial batteries, and we have a relatively large share of the German market. We sell all over the world, and we've got partners in most places and most continents. Well, it becomes no surprise to you, that's what material handling is. You guys are all in the automotive business. Industrial trucks, class 1 to class 3. You can see from the small pallet trucks to the very large forklift trucks. Light traction, you can see there, mixtures, scrubbers, sweepers, electric wheelchairs, scissor lifts, ground support, etc. And the last one, railroad. Not much demand at the moment in the Middle East for that, but who knows. If you've never seen a traction battery before, this is what it is. There's 2-volt units, and they're made up into a multi-volt unit, which we call the battery. The 2-volt unit is the cell. So unlike a car battery with 12-volt, or even the 24 or 48-volt, the new batteries, these are 2-volt, and then they're built like this. Obviously, this is for a forklift truck, and you can see there. Putting it in simpler form, we get the tubular cells, we put it in the block battery. If we put 12 cells in, we get 24 volts, and that's the traction battery. The material handling equipment goes into many different applications, but warehousing, logistics, manufacturing, automotive manufacturing. We have a lot of large automotive manufacturing. All manufacturing in automotive has electric forklift trucks in their factories, and these are heavy duty trucks, and our batteries go into there. And airports and railways, it's quite a span of application that these batteries go into. Very narrow aisle trucks, towing tractors, pallet stackers that are used in warehousing, supermarkets, order picking, all those sort of applications. This is the material handling market. Well, but what's the growth dynamics? Well, as increasing circulation of goods, consumerization, driven by retail growth, Middle East, and I guess Dubai is a prime example of that, with all its shopping malls and supermarkets. All that is fed by the material handling industry. So the new markets, Asia, Africa, South America, and I suppose you could say the Middle East. Environmental, there's a lot of debate nowadays around the world, electrical versus diesel, pollution. Basically it's pollution versus clean. That's driving the growth. Most Western countries, you don't see it too much in the Middle East, but certainly in the likes of the big supermarkets, you'll see electric trucks rather than diesel. Diesel trucks inside a warehouse is a big no-no because they're carcinogenic, the fuming. Health and safety, mechanical handling versus material handling. This is lifting small weights. Nowadays you have to do that by pallet truck. You can't do it manually. Certainly in Europe, North America, and the more developed regions. Specialty applications, well, you've only got to look at Dubai Airport, Abu Dhabi, and the rest of it. Airport logistics are just taking off. Cold storage, a big industry in the UAE. Lots of visitors, all that food is put into cold storage. That's where electric trucks go. And the leisure, again, mobile, golf. I think the UAE is a good example of that one as well. So the motive power OEMs that we look at, the names you're familiar with here, Toyota, Cat, Komatsu, Young Heinrich. These all drive standardization in the industry and common product platforms. And the key users, I've just chosen a few that we supply to: Walmart, VW, DHL, global retailers, manufacturers, and global logistics. Key customer relationships, direct into the market. Again, you've got the list there. A lot of the supermarkets. You see the supermarkets like Lulu as well over here. All these people using the tractions. And key users: Amazon, VW, Unilever, Donata, and the like. Dubai Airport, Heathrow Airport, Sharjah Airport, Abu Dhabi Airport. You can take as many as you want, use this type of equipment. Premier OE customers in the UAE, if you're interested, you've got them all there: Toyota, Linde, Stihl, Heaney, all these guys, United Motors, Alpha Tame Motors, Span, all these guys are using, all these companies are using the forklift trucks. The government in this particular country are also a heavy end user. And you can see some of the areas there from that, as well as people like IKEA and the rest of it. You can see Lulu, Dubai Aluminium, Emirates Transport, Sharjah Airport. It's a big customer base we have. Right, that's the truck side, if you like. You could say a more interesting side is the standby application, and certainly in the Middle East. And in countries that are developing their infrastructure, countries that have beautiful solar every day, you have these type of applications. The three of them: the solar on the left, telecoms on the right, and one on the bottom is UPS, uninterrupted power storage. They're the applications. The growth is obviously growth in wireless connectivity, backup power for the key comms points. It's just rapid growth. Growth in data communications, backup power for data centers. I read somewhere the other day that the big user of this now are videos. All the kids on their iPhones, whatever they're on, doing videos. It requires huge amounts of backup power, and generally big batteries, big lead acid batteries fit this need. Increase renewable and off-grid energy. Well, everybody knows solar, wind, hydro. Everybody's trying to go down that path. And again, that's off-grid storage. Again, these standby batteries go in there. And mobile telecoms growth. If you go to Africa or you go to parts of Asia, South America, the infrastructure is not really there for telecoms, and they require backup, and therefore they require standby batteries. So there's a huge growth in this area. It's one of the fastest growing battery applications on the planet. There's a typical example of one of our installations. You can see this isn't like a car battery. This is totally different. These are big batteries for data centers, backup. You can see them, all the grey cells. These batteries don't cost $50. These are very heavy capital expenditure. Why are we interested in this, and why does the UAE have this plant? Well, look at the market. It's $5.2 billion just for telecom, and if you have a look at the Middle East, it's $1 billion market for batteries and systems. And you can see Middle East, India, the developing countries are far bigger EU or even North America. You know, so this part of the world and Africa and Asia is a huge growth, and one of the reasons why we're here. Doesn't take a genius to work this one out, but in developed markets go from a large base station with a large DC system. Batteries normally come on store for 2 hours because you can get the grid back on, and with an 8-year life. It's different if you go into a developing market where you need where the power doesn't come on, and you've got far more abuse in terms of its cycling, and you've got 8 to 10 hours battery backup. And you can see the difference in the number of batteries, and you can also see the frequent battery replacement because of the ambience and the ambient temperature and the maintenance of these batteries. This is what's really driving this growth. If you want to be in batteries, this is a very good area to be in. So, some of the global telecom system manufacturers, global data system manufacturers, and the power system manufacturers. There's 3 examples here. Ericsson's probably one of the largest in the world, Siemens, and Eltec. We actually supply to these guys. And some of the key power users are the telecom operators, the data management operators, and the power operators. And you can just see it. 3 examples there: Vodafone, E.ON, and the iCloud. So, moving on from telecoms, then you come into energy storage, which hopefully one day will become very excitable in the Middle East, because it's all to do with solar, and it's all to do with this type of energy storage, whether it's off-grid, on-grid, or hybrid. You can see here 3 examples. The first one is on-grid solar. Very easy. You have your panel, you have your inverter, goes through the meter, you can switch it from the house or you can put it into the grid. A lot of that's used in developed markets. The middle one, off-grid, AC solar, well on that one, this is more remote. This is where it can't go back into the grid, and you can see there that it's stored, and then the house or the warehouse or the manufacturing facility can use the energy off-grid. And then there's a hybrid. You can see the hybrid on the right, and there's some notes on here. Just finally on generators versus IC versus battery. Every system has its problem, and when you get a generator, dependent on the price of oil, but generally it's costly. It's more costly than electric compared to the grid power. Diesel, if you're in relatively undeveloped countries, gets stolen and thefts. Noise and air pollution, there's guidelines on that. Fluctuating diesel prices make the economics difficult, and the high repair time on diesel generators. From a battery point of view, you have a very similar thing. People steal them, and they steal them to put them in the houses, or they steal them to do whatever they're going to do with them, or they just steal them for the lead or the materials. Less effective in case of frequent power cuts because it has a high charge time. It's a bulky nature, you need space. Poor battery performance in poor grid power areas, and the after sales service, you've got to have people there. So, we have a factory here in UAE making industrial batteries to the very, very highest standard for all these applications. We're 4 or 5 years old. We can provide product for all these applications. And the message today, I was asked by our chairman to speak, because normally he speaks about automotive and tyres and things like this, is that there is a different world outside of an automotive battery. There's the industrial battery market, which does overlap somewhat into the automotive industry. A lot of the customers are the same, certainly on the truck side. And you know, that's another side of the business. So it was a general overview about industrial batteries, why industrial batteries are exciting, hopefully, and some synergy between the automotive guys It's not particularly technical, but if anybody wants to talk to me later about the chemistries, or whether we should use lithium ion or nickel hydride or fuel cells, then I'm quite open to have that discussion with them. But generally, lead acid is the lowest cost battery you can manufacture by a factor of 3, 4, 5, 6, you can take your pick, and it's 99.6% recyclable. And the best example of that is what I gave you before. Car batteries come into the UAE, or any other country for that matter, it gets smelted, we use the secondary lead, and that secondary lead then gets converted back into industrial batteries and shipped back to wherever the cars have come from. So it's 100% recyclable, and you can continue and continue and continue doing that. So it's a very green technology, no matter what you think about lead acid. It's an old technology, it's highly recyclable, it's in a very, very stable chemistry, really stable, it's very abundant, it's mined with zinc, it's a sub-product from zinc, and and it's very, very cost effective. You can buy car batteries for very low prices, and you can't start your car without a car battery, right? And even with a lithium, you'll need a small lead acid battery to deal with the electronics on the car. So even if you go to a Tesla car, you'll have a small lead acid battery in it. Small, it needs that for all the electronics on the car. So that's what I wanted to say today, and as I say, if anybody wants to talk detail after that, I'll be at the back. Thank you.
Does anyone have a question for Dr. Stevenson? I have a question. I'm a bit reluctant to ask it. I feel like asking my professor about something I should know about. But I'm wondering, we were talking earlier, is this working? We were talking earlier about OEM car manufacturers endeavoring to reduce the weight of vehicles for new carbon technologies and other weight reduction activities. And of course, the lead acid battery is a heavy piece of kit. From your professional viewpoint, things like fuel cell technologies, is there a movement away from acid-lead batteries toward a lighter variation or something new? What is the world saying to us in that regard?
Yeah, it's a complex question, but you'll have seen the Tesla, and you'll see the recent orders for the Tesla, where I think 400,000 Teslas is a pre-order. 40,000-50,000, that's lithium, but it has a lead acid battery in it. It's a smaller lead acid battery, so you're getting that. But if you ask me, is lead acid as a lead acid battery going to be out of the car in the next 5 or 10 years? I think the answer is very certainly no. Can the batteries be made smaller? Well, the problem you've got with yes, they can. The problem if the automotive guys don't keep on adding electronics and different systems to it, because that just generates bigger and bigger batteries. And the second point on it, it's not so much evident here, but stop-start or start-stop batteries, which nowadays, if you're in Europe, every car you get is more or less stop-start, is that those batteries are generally heavier. So, but the car manufacturers justify the increase in weight because there's a 6 or 7% saving on fuel, and that's what they put forward to the industry as them reducing their carbon emissions, because there's no quick way for them to do it. They do it in engine development, and they've gone a long way on that, as you know. But basically, nearly every battery sold in Europe on an OE is a stop-start, and in most cases the bigger, because the car guys need that power and for their electronics, and they need to show the Brussels or Washington that they are making savings on fuel. But if you ask me, are we all going to be driving around in electric vehicles in 10 years' time? Everybody? The answer is no. 30 years' time, I don't know, it might be all automated guided vehicles, but I won't be here then, so...